The warm weather is here, which means we're really getting into barbecue season. Let me ask you this. What are you putting on your grill? You don't have to go far or look for something imported and exotic. There are family farms that have been in operation for generations, making quality beef right in your own backyard. Did you know that some of the most sustainable beef farming practices found anywhere on the planet happen right here in Ontario? Ontario beef farmers and their cattle work together to protect pasture land, biodiversity, soil health, and carbon storage. This is the beef you can feel good about buying while supporting your neighbors at the same time. Ask about it the next time you're talking to your butcher. Ask for Ontario beef. For more information, head to ontbeef, that's ontbeef.ca. ontbeef.ca, ontbeef.ca.
Kelly Cutrara Show. Great to have you along. It's 6:40 Toronto. Heather Purden's producing the program for Danny Stover this week, and Dave Spargala is our technical producer. Dave, you're looking great from here. How you feeling? You feeling good today?
I'm feeling good, yeah. I got my second coffee going. I'm ready to go.
Yep, your commute into work was good. Your legs are tired?
Not tired, but it was really good, actually. I didn't have any incidents on the road for once.
Yeah, well, listen, you can turn your brain off for this next conversation because you don't drive a car, so you probably don't care as much about this as most of us do. But gas is, we heard that it would reach its lowest price in the last 2 weeks. So here to find out if it actually happened, Dan McTeague joins us. Of course, Dan, friend of the program, and he also happens to be president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. Dan, are we at a 2-week low today? Confirm or deny?
Confirm.
Ooh, what are we at?
Hasn't been this good since June 2nd. So June 1st, we were back at that time. If you remember, we were even the week before $1.96.9. So, yeah, this is getting a little bit better. Back then, we were down to 202, 203. And you know what, Kelly? We might go there. We're going to get a 1 cent decrease tomorrow. Big deal, eh? 206.9.
I'll take it. I'll save a penny. I don't mind.
Well, listen, with the U.S. Federal Reserve about to announce what no one expected just a few days ago, a 75-point basis increase. That's something the U.S. hasn't seen since 1994. I have a feeling that markets are getting really nervous now, and even those of us who thought inflation will continue to ride this wave to unprecedented levels, there's a lot of people saying this could bring the global economy to a standstill. And so, maybe it was easy to get to work this morning because you can take a skateboard down on many roads because there's no one on them. They can't afford to drive. But it's likely to get a little bit better before we get back to that point of realizing, oh my goodness, we still have a supply crunch globally.
All right. So you're saying that this is just a little bit of a calm before we get back to a storm again. We're in the middle of it's like it's ebbing and flowing here.
It is. And Kelly, the one thing that I keep reminding everyone here, and you and I have discussed this umpteen times, the Canadian dollar is just lousy. It's not responding. And last week, 125 pennies bought you $1. This week, it's 129.4. I just want people to understand that when it comes to not just gas prices and diesel, but all of our commodities are priced in U.S. dollars. But because of our loonie no longer being the petro loonie, guess what? Here in Toronto, it's costing you and I an extra 36 cents a liter. So, talk about an unexpected tax, hidden tax, if you will, or, sort of a drive-by pilfering. This is exactly what's happened. And it's if we were back to 2012 or 2008 when we had a stronger dollar, gasoline would then be down to, I don't know, $1.60, $1.65. I don't think we'd be having too many of these interviews.
Okay, let's talk about it because you brought up the T word, the gas tax. Is there?
Yeah.
Are we hearing any movement on dropping the tax on gas, at least giving us a little bit of alleviation when it comes to taxes?
Well, the province, I guess, is going to do that a little bit. It takes in 14.7 cents on every liter of gasoline in terms of a road tax. That doesn't include the 8% that it gets on HST as part of the 13% that we pay. But nothing from the federal government. They're saying, no, their $10 daycare covers it. Okay. That's really nice, but that's a little bit like, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. I guess what this really means, the federal government now stands to collect. And I think MP, what's his name? Kevin Bong raised this yesterday in the House of Commons. I saw it, and I was really impressed with his numbers. He came out and said, look, the windfall to the federal government on GST alone, year over year, is $2.5 million on diesel and gasoline. That doesn't include propane, doesn't include natural gas and other things that we use, but that's a pretty significant, healthy number for the federal government to perhaps consider finding a way to rebate it. And I see that the NDP has yesterday called on something I did many years ago, which was a home heating rebate using that same GST windfall. So I think the federal government has to step up to the plate because they're part of the problem, and they could very much be part of the solution.
Well, we talk about diesel and the cost of, gas is one thing, and then you look at the cost of diesel, and a lot of people heat their homes with diesel still in rural areas. It's what farmers use a lot of for their tractors and farming implements. If that's the case, and it is super high, what was it at? Something like 2?
Yeah, 215, 210, 215 in Toronto. Much higher run, and hit 235, hit almost to 250, 254 at one point back in end of April.
Right. So I said to Dave, look, you ride a bike, so you probably don't care about this segment. But the reality is Dave's still got to eat. And we're not going to see, as the Bank of Canada raises its lending rate, we're not going to see inflation go down for at least a year. So this is not great when it comes to grocery stores as well, right?
No, and listen, diesel isn't just used for transportation. It's also used for producing something called urea, and it's synthetic, and it's used for fertilizer. Ask farmers anywhere here in Ontario, because they've been hitting me hard since last September, October, saying, my God, Dan, nitrogen, which comes from natural gas, urea, which comes from diesel, 2/3 of the product that we use as fertilizers in this country are in both short supply and have doubled in price. And a lot of farmers were actually taking their little green tanks that they have that they use, that's nitrogen that they use early in planting season, and they were putting them in under lock and key. So I think as far as what this means in terms of consequences beyond gasoline, they're massive. Everyone knows this, and we know that our standard of living is being eroded not just by higher costs as a result of higher energy, but we're also seeing another unintended effect, and that's bank rates are having to go up because it's not just the housing market that went crazy. Everything that we use, that we consume, that we touch, that we take for granted has a component of fossil fuel in it. So, like it or not, the demand is not congruent with our willingness to say, let's use less, even at price.
Okay, this is a headline, and I'm going to do a little abrupt change here in conversation, but I'm sure you'll have something to say about it. It's a headline that you can read in two ways. The headline is, more than half of Canadians say they won't buy a fully electric vehicle, which you could look at it as in, so Canadians are not going to buy a fully electric vehicle. The other side of it is half would say they'd like to buy a fully electric vehicle. What a lot of Canadians they say are interested in, if they're not interested in an EV, is a hybrid, which offers a gas and electric combination. Do you think, I know the government wants us to go fully electric, but do you think that we'll see people dipping their toe in first with hybrids? Is there a lack of confidence as far as batteries go with EVs? What's holding people back?
I think it's availability and price, and these things are not also reliable. The three things you keep in mind on energy, it's always one that, an old fellow that trained me a lot of the stuff that I did when I was a member of Parliament said, Dan, remember affordability, scalability, and reliability. And the thing with all of these wonderful new gadgets and new technologies is that they're not there. They're not ready for prime time. That includes EVs. And I don't take away from them. They're a fun ride. But, if everybody were to have an EV over the next 10 years, if they could afford to do so, and the ability to make them available to everybody was certainly there without damaging the environment, we would have to improve our energy grid, and the cost of electricity would go through the roof, and governments would have to find other means in which to gain taxes in order to support the programs that we have out there. All that aside, I think the issue of adaptability, people moving to something else, I think the stopgap is going to be for the foreseeable future in a cold country like Canada, where the climate does change dramatically, is still the hybrid. And I'm biased. I have a hybrid, and there's a good reason why I have it, because I get both fuel economy, especially during the summer months, because in the winter it drops, as do EVs. I think we need to look at that technology. And I'm biased. I was public relations over at Toyota Canada when we introduced the Tsunami. You guys know it today as the Prius. And so I think that's the future. And it's not going to change a whole lot. Our consumption of oil and gas is not going to change because everybody goes to EVs. That's the big myth in all this.
Right. Because you've still got to fuel them somehow, right? So it's either electricity or gas. Let me ask you this very, very quickly, Dan, because I don't have a lot of time left. Where are we at gas prices? Where are we going?
We're going down a penny tomorrow, and I think we're going down 2 cents. Although the market hasn't, the U.S. Department of Energy's inventory report hasn't come out. I'll wait for that. But touch wood, we could be down another 2 cents, maybe even 3 cents come Thursday.
Where's that put us?
Friday. And that'll put us down to about 205.9, maybe even 204.9.
Ooh, do I wait to gas up on Friday before I go to the cottage? Ooh. Dan, I don't know. But you're usually not wrong. So
I would hold off until Friday. I think that's probably going to be the best day, unless something dramatic should happen today. And again, markets are crazy, volatile like they've never seen before.
Thanks so much, Dan. Always appreciate your time. Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy. I will take care, and you do it as well.